Hello everyone, welcome to another season of episodes of your weekly dose of Terraform. My name is the same, well, it hasn't changed since I went on vacation. So my name is Anton Babenko. I am CEO and founder of a company called Better Job, and today we're going to talk about Terraform. Well, if you don't know what I'm doing, you can probably Google my name and you will see a lot of Terraform relations. So let's see. I took vacation for more than a month, and it's a little bit hard for me to go back to this mood and remember what I was doing and how I was doing. So yeah, Friday 13 seems to be the best day to start this after vacation. So hello Yuri, and hello many people who are watching this live and who will be watching this in recording. So let's start with something, let's say somewhere here. Yeah, here we are. Cool. So M0 is a company who is supporting me, and they are in particular helpful supporting me doing this live stream. For those who don't know what M0 does, this is collaborative platform where you have your Terraform configurations and you want to run it somewhere. So this is a place for you to go. So hello Yuri, hello Tanya, and hello, well, 6 people are watching right now on YouTube. I think there will be more because, let me see, because LinkedIn finally approved my request. It took approximately a year to allow me to stream to LinkedIn. So if you want to watch LinkedIn live, you can do it there. I don't know how to do this, but you just go there and you will see this notification that Anton Babenko is live. I think it's pretty awesome. Okay, let's move on. I don't want to talk about LinkedIn live right now. So Better Job is a company which is specializing in Terraform, AWS, and DevOps. In particular, we are focusing on open source. Well, open source is like 99% of what we do. And Terraform AWS modules, which I will be talking specifically today, is what we focus. We provide consulting services, and we have a lot of fun with serverless. So if you would like to use serverless with Terraform, please check it out, serverless.tf, and let me know what you think. I'm also HashiCorp ambassador as well as AWS community hero. And a few things which I'd like to point. Well, there are so many things happened while I was on vacation, but I just want to say thanks a lot to everyone who supported me and who said good things in comments or in different messages. While I was away, I find it quite interesting that people actually watch it in recordings and they learn something from it. So I receive approximately maybe 10, maybe more messages from people who said thanks. And a few people in particular I like who said that they appreciate that all of my streams are not scripted in any way. Well, this is not true. They are scripted in a way that I have a topic. And today's topic is going to be Terraform AWS modules. That's end of script, okay? There is nothing else than this. But it is still a script, right? So I have a topic. I have topic which I announce, and then I'm going to go through these tabs one by one. And if I go by the end of this tab during an hour, that's great. If not, well, that's life. So anyway, let's move on, closing these tabs. This was about my company. So if you want to see what else I'm doing other than this live stream, which is, by the way, forwarded to Twitch. If you guys know what is Twitch, Twitch is not just for games, but it's also for, well, for some content. I'm absolutely not a big fan of Twitch, to be honest, because it's just strange that content will disappear in 2 weeks. So YouTube is the most powerful platform which I currently use. So Twitch, YouTube, LinkedIn, and well, there was also Periscope, but they closed down. Anyway, So check out some of my media project, which is this stream, as well as Weekly TF, which is a very cool idea, I think, to actually take some vacation. Because while I was away, there were a lot of people who subscribed. I don't know why, but anyway, people subscribed even when I was on vacation, and they were visiting previous newsletters and reading. And this newsletter, which I published 2 days ago, already got the same amount of clicks and a lot of positive feedback I got from people. So I will continue publishing a newsletter every week, but again, it depends on how much time I will be able to allocate to this, because it's a little bit trickier to go across the whole internet and find something what is really, really interesting, not just copy pasting the next certification guide or the next thing which you can easily find on Reddit, for example. I actually go around and see GitHub or some other Medium sources and many other places where I want to find something what is really best. But in any case, if you find anything what is how to say relevant for the Terraform community at large, please feel free to send me a note, link, or direct message on Twitter or any other way. I highly appreciate it. And yeah, some people want me to start speak Ukrainian. I think I can speak Ukrainian fairly okay. Maybe not perfect, but well, because I'm from Ukraine, but I have not been speaking Ukrainian for almost all my life. So we'll continue with English for a while, and when I am in Ukraine, I will actually speak Ukrainian, like for real, because, well, why not? Okay, so subscribe to Weekly TF and stay tuned for more weekly newsletter. I'm sure that when summer will be over, more people will produce even more amazing content, which I will be happily mentioning in the newsletter, and I'm thinking that it's going to be more and more helpful for many people who wants to learn it. So let's move on to another thing, which is actually initiative which I wanted to have for quite a long time, because if you look into a list of projects which I have created or maintained over the time, let me see. So for example, utilities, pre-commit Terraform. Oh, hello, Vladimir Mitin is my fellow Ukrainian friend, and he wants to talk about paragliding. That's a really good idea, because I haven't been flying for quite a long time right now. So yeah, we will talk about that for sure when we meet over. Actually, Vladimir lives like 10 kilometers away from me, but I haven't seen him for, I don't know, maybe 3 years now. Anyway, pre-commit Terraform is one of the projects which I was creating with an idea that, hey, I want to make something useful for myself and for the community, why not? I started it, I don't know, maybe 3, maybe 4 years ago, and right now I don't have enough time to go through all of those issues, and there are a lot of them, like 40 issues, 12 pull requests. Yeah, it was 4 years ago when I started this project. And this project is heavily in use by many companies and many individuals. So what I want to do is that I want to actually connect. So yeah, it is going to be a small experiment. I want to make a connection between companies who actually want to sponsor the developers, who actually will write the code or will go through issues, will do the real work, instead of me trying to squeeze some time and fix it in my spare time, which I absolutely don't have, if you can imagine. And I think it's going to be a very cool idea that companies, like I can see here, N0 and maybe some other companies, will be interested, and they will actually make a fund which I will be spreading across developers who actually does the work. There were a few people who I contacted in the past, and they say like, oh yeah, we will be working on this project, and it's like the story, how you want to get rid of people, you have to borrow them a book, right? Or something like that. The same with open source project. As soon as you give people some access to a repository and you tell them like, oh yeah, now you have power to push code and do whatever you feel, but please be careful, that's it. That's the last thing which you hear from this person. I had this occasion with several people in several projects, and I think I will continue using this practice. If I want to get rid of some boring person who is not doing actually a good job but just talking about how awesome his contribution would be, just give him access and he will disappear by himself. That's proven by several projects. So anyway, I'm looking for companies who will pay some funds and we will distribute it. I want to highlight that I want to make this as a small experiment, just tailoring this pre-commit Terraform project because it is one of my project which is in use and I don't have time for that. I have a few other projects which also have some issues and I don't have time for those either. But let's start with pre-commit Terraform. So, well, I think that's it about pre-commit Terraform. If you are interested, once more, if you're interested in supporting this in exchange of publicity, I mean, I will talk about your company and I will explain what you do, and it will be quite a powerful message which I can distribute through various channels. But I mean, you give something to the community and I give something back as well. That's how it is. And as you can see, there were approximately 100 people who like this and who support this, and they also want to be on both sides, as a company and as developers. So, so what else is here? Yeah, other big projects which I have been working, but I don't have enough time for that right now, is definitely serverless TF. Well, doing serverless with Terraform is hot. I know a lot of people are using Terraform and using this approach, which is described on serverless TF, but I just don't have enough time which I can dedicate for that one. So if your companies are interested in supporting or sponsoring any of this work, please reach out to me. Definitely Terraform AWS modules is the biggest one which is actually in use. There were more than now 40 millions of downloads, and well, a lot of different people are using it and relying on it. So this one is rather important piece overall. So what I want to do with that one in the upcoming, I don't know, year or half year or anything like that, I want to, again, focus on the same things as last year. So quality, and there is a doodle. This doodle is not meant to be used for everyone, but nevertheless, most likely, when is it? 24th of August, I will announce a public stream where several maintainers of Terraform AWS modules will gather and we will discuss things related to EKS module, because it's getting bigger and it requires more maintenance than just Tierno can allocate. So who can do something there and how we can proceed with that one. So if you're interested in that one, make sure that you join this stream and we'll have it open discussion. And also related to the rest of Terraform AWS modules, a few problem places which can be improved. Well, they're not problem places as such, but this is definitely improvement which can be implemented. It relates to release process, which we were talking about for quite some time, as well as a few other things which we talked about. And maybe we have to drop Terraform 0.12 completely. So we'll see more about those probably 24th of August. I will announce this later on when we actually decide on the date. And as usual, if you hear anything in the community, or if you have any feedback for what I do, please send me a message, and I want to know more specific things. It's usually good to hear some positive things as well as negative things, but try to be a little bit more concrete is really helpful. So what else is here? Modules TF, I hope you will hear about this in about, well, I don't know, 1, 2, 3 months. A lot of news about that one, which is in progress. It was a little bit delayed, but it's still in progress. Well, it's actually different things. It's not infrastructure as code generator. But anyway, more about that later. Terraform best practices, I've had a lot of ideas how to improve that one and what to put into this free ebook, which I wrote 3 years ago, and I have not been updating it so much. So I will probably, again, down prioritize this unless there is a company or individual who say that this is, let's say, requirement or this is budget which we want to spend. I will discuss how I can proceed with it, and then we'll make some sort of cooperation. Again, I want to make your company is sponsoring some of this work. It's not just me getting money and saying that everything is done by me. Well, actually, most of this stuff is done by me, but still, I want to give back some credits. Anyway, small projects, they're not relevant. Okay, so if you want to know how you can follow, there are a bunch of things where you can find GitHub, LinkedIn, Twitter, and so on. I mean, this is probably well known already. But if you want to sponsor me for real, GitHub sponsors or buy me a coffee or PayPal or even Patreon is an option. GitHub sponsors is the best one to my mind. Okay, hopefully this is well known now, so let's move on. Well, no, that's not it. That's this one. Pre-commit. This one, yes, okay, right. So let's move on to a topic where people ask, like pretty much every fifth request or every fifth message which I hear from people is like, hey, how can I help with whatever is going on? I want to be part of this. Here is it. Like the best thing which I ask pretty much everyone is to do customer support for all of projects which I have, or for any other projects in open source. This is the best thing which anyone can do. So if you go to a project which you use, for example, you use this ALB module, or you want to improve it, or you want to learn how application load balancer works on AWS with Terraform. So you go to this repository, you go through the code, you understand how things work, and then you open issues. And as you can see, a lot of issues here, well, they are pretty, maybe not very long time ago, but this one, for example, will open June, right? So as you can see, during summertime or when I was away, there were this kind of issues open. So what you can do, and this is again taken, I don't know, 70% of time, sometimes like 100% of the time, is to go through these issues, and this is a question rather than a bug. I cannot see blah 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 blah. So what I ask everyone to do is just come here and say hi, and then this guy, and the problem is blah blah blah, and you open it, and I mean you click comment. That's it. I mean, this is something what is easier if we do it all together, but it's just impossible for me to go through all of this and answer all of those questions. Again, I spent very large amount of time. Of course, I can continue doing this, but then don't expect anything new to happen, and I will just burn out and kill all of this stuff. You don't want me to do this, I guess. But sometimes people ask if this is an option. Well, anyway, so please go through these issues in any of Terraform AWS modules, participate in discussion, and if you think that discussion is solved, just mention my name and say, I think this is resolved, or close, please close this issue, and I will definitely close it. In many cases without even understanding details of what this question is about, because again, it will take time and I don't want to spend so much time as I would be writing the answer myself. Hope you understand this, and well, let's move on. So let me see what else I have in mind. Right, okay, other things which I want to mention, which is related to Stream in general. I know that structure of today's episode is not very good, but still, most likely I will continue with the same. Let me show what I was doing before. Just what I was doing before. So I was doing some tools reviews, like InfraCost, Cloud Query, bunch of other things, as well as live coding, and most likely I will continue to do that. I have already some pre-arrangement with some really impressive speakers who is well known in Terraform or infrastructure as code or in DevOps or in security. Most likely I will continue discussing how and what we can discuss together. So stay tuned for that one. But again, if you know somebody or if you want to have certain topic to be covered, don't hesitate to reach out and we'll see what we can do. I hope to go through let me see. Yeah, right. Okay, yeah, we actually have some discussion. So Barak is CTO of Bridge Crew. He's maintainer of Chekhov, and most likely we'll be talking about your in some time in the future, as well as I want to talk to Liam, who is creator of TFSec, which was recently acquired by Aqua Security. So, well, this is another tool which is very well known and rather long history. So I will be hopefully talking to him, and we'll make a pretty nice episode. But we'll see. Okay, so that's it about Stream. Let's do some coding, right? Who wants to see some code, some fixes? I cannot promise that Terraform will work today at all, because believe me, during a couple days after I came back from vacation, I couldn't understand what is Terraform and why I was doing this and how miserable the life is. No, well, I'm kidding. But anyway, let's start with this. Update the Terraform support for new provider signature. Okay. So I really like the way how Jamie Starke from Victoria, from Canada, how he described the whole problem. This problem is, this description helps a lot. Like, I cannot follow all things happening worldwide in Terraform, of course, and especially remember all these versions by heart. So, but I remember that in April there was some GPG key exposure, and there was some issue, and new version of provider was released, and so on. So he has described that this is actually a problem, and overall, let me show the solution for this problem, and I'm sure that you will understand. So overall is you cannot use version 26, 0.12.26. Yes, we are still using version 0.12 for some time. We will deprecate it pretty soon, but still, you cannot use version 0.12.26 because recent versions of Terraform AWS providers rely on another GPG key, which was embedded into 0.12.31. And this is kind of important statement that obviously I was not using this version myself many times. I mean, it was 2 years ago, right? So I was not aware about this thing, but this thing seems like a real challenge, so I will go and fix it right away. So the pull request is 678, and let's see. So Terraform AWS modules VPC and git pull. Well, git pull is not needed because I can use GitHub PR checkout 678, and let's see, 678 sounds cool. So in this pull request he only changed 0.12.31, which is good, but the remaining part of an issue which he didn't update is documentation. So let me see how I can handle the update of documentation. Let's see, I close some things here. I hope my head is not in front of important part. So inside of VPC we have documentation, which is extracting this version into README. So pre-commit run -a, just to make sure that this stuff is formatted, validated. Well, validation probably will fail, but all I care is just documentation inside of README. So Terraform validate will fail, but that's okay because I'm using version 1.0 right now. But yeah, Terraform docs is updated. And that's it. So how many README is updated? Well, pretty much everything. Cool. So that's it. Git commit, docs fixed, README. Yeah, it was hard to type on keyboard even after 1 month of not using laptop, but now it's good. So git push to that one, and if I go to this tab now, it will rerun everything, and it will hopefully make this pull request green, and I will merge it. Cool. I think this was the fastest pull request which I had in a long time. So next one is a little bit bigger. Well, always send filter map in replication config in S3 bucket. Well, I have no clue what is filter and replication config, so we'll need to read about it. I mean, no, I understand filter probably means filter in replication config, like what exactly to replicate, but let's see. So this pull request is 104. So one of thing with this pull request is that yes, I need to know what is filter and why it was written this way inside of code. But I also like to see, and this is pretty good to understand, but it's usually much more kind of effective is when you actually commit code inside of example, which was previously not working, and now after you fix this pull request or after you make this change in the pull request, suddenly become usable. So if I look into this file change, well, there are a lot of description. Send empty map if filter is an empty map or absent entirely. Well, these two can be connected together, but we'll see. So filter is going to be sent anyway. Send filter if it's present and has at least one field. Okay, so these two definitely will have to be connected, and we'll see how it goes. So if I now go to the code, so it's issue 104. Let's see, issue. And by the way, meanwhile, oh sorry, I'm showing the wrong tab. Meanwhile, this VPC was fixed, so I can merge, update Terraform to support new provider signature in 0.12. Well, in 0.12 doesn't fit, so I think it's fine. Anyway, the plan was to drop 0.12 approximately a year ago, and 0.13 features can be used for about a year now, or half year at least. So okay, now this is merged, so I'll just show my a little bit simplified process of releasing, which is calling git release inside of this repository. And what it does is finding first branch. I will show the code in a bit. So finding first branch which match certain requirements. Привет. And then calling git changelog, as well as committing this changelog, and calling cmtag script to actually release it. So yeah, few people almost simultaneously, I don't know why, made an issue and said that they'd like to have proper git releases instead of git tags, which I understand why they want it, but I'm really surprised that this happened almost simultaneously. It looks like they attended the same gathering or the same event or the same meeting in company, and then two of them just created this issue. Anyway, git releases definitely is coming at some point. Probably 24th of August we'll discuss this as well. Okay, so I want to show you what is git release, just so that everyone understand. So git release is a shell function which is going to find first branch which is available. It's either master, because I'm really old-fashioned, I use master all the time, everywhere by default. I'm sorry guys, but I'm not gonna to switch to main as default branch, because, well, why? So master and then main and then develop, so it finds the first one, and well, this is happening here, and if it doesn't find any of this, then it's stop, but I always have it. And then I just call this make changelog for the specified scope, commit this changelog, push this changelog, and make git tag release for the same scope. So that's it. Okay, right. I was afraid that I'm showing wrong screen again, but no, this time no. Git bulk. What is git bulk? So let's move on to GitHub pull request checkout. Wait, I forgot to do the magic. The magic is the following. I copied this release node into this issue here. This was an issue, and if I really liked the work which person did, or if it was really really creative or really cool or really kind of very cool, then I say thanks. But in general I say thanks also, but this one was really cool. Okay, right, so this one is closed, this one is fixed, yes, it's closed, this one is fixed. Okay, so we are talking about this 104, and let's look into the test case. Okay, so who was it? Mohsin. Well, Mohsin was telling that tested using S3 bucket with cross-region replication example, tweaked the example to replicate S3 bucket to 2 replica buckets in the same region. One replication rule without a filter specified. Okay, cool. So we are going to do the same. Let's go to this example. So it's S3 bucket, checkout 104. Let's see. So this 104 example S3 replication. I guess this is example, yeah, cross-region replication enabled. So this one he was talking about. So I'm going to edit. Well, first of all, I need to take a look what is on earth I was doing here because I don't remember. Anyway, so S3 bucket filter. I guess he was making the same thing but with filter and without filter. Right, I have filter here and filter here. So that's why it was working. Okay, so first of all, let's make the one thing which I usually do, especially when I when I don't know what I'm gonna to do next, is that I create any sort of infrastructure and then iterate on small bits. So I go to examples, and here I go to S3 replication and Terraform init. Most likely something new happened while I was away, so I use this upgrade true to make sure that I don't load new providers and everything is updated. Because if I run it without it, let me show what happens. Let's see. Well, nothing happens, but that's because I didn't have this folder before. But if I go to a folder where I have, let's say, complete, and if I run Terraform init, most likely it will fail. No, it will not fail. Sometimes it fails because my version of Terraform, which I used before, required different version of Terraform providers. But if I now inside of S3 replication, and if I now run upgrade through, you will see that this 337 and 3.1 will be changed. Right? No. Right? No. 3. Yeah, probably I'm looking into a wrong place. Yeah, right. It was not refreshed. So as you can see, I really want to make sure that I'm using latest version of everything what was created while I was away. So I have to make sure that I run it with upgrade through. But in general, it's a little bit slower. So normally you run Terraform init if you don't care about minor updates in the latest version of providers. Okay, so what else I can do here? Terraform apply. So let's create something. Okay. So the right example here would be to, like the right flow would be to go to examples and make example which is failing with old code, like literally removing one of this filter, and then apply code changes to the main TF file and rerun it, and then it suddenly work. But this person didn't do changes in the pull request, but he did it himself, which is good enough. So now if I want to remove this one, I'll not remove it like this because I will need it in the future. So let's see if I run apply now. Let's see if it is actually gonna to work. So I expect some small changes to happen here. Well, these changes are inside the replication configuration. They are not very small to look because this is map, and well, that's how it looks in Terraform, but I think it's fine because it's going to remove one. Good. So this is a procedure how I usually do it. So it's modified. And another thing which I usually do, especially if I work with resources which I have no clue how, like by heart, how they were supposed to be managed. So what I go to is I go to this S3 bucket documentation. Yes, I'm that old-fashioned. I go to documentation and I search for word filter, and I need to make sure that it says optional, because if it is required, then it's one type of code which has to be written. But it says optional. This means that this no, not this one. This means that Mohsin was right and that you may not provide a filter. Okay, so let's go back and let's use old code. It was line 176. So in line 176, well, this was a lot of code. It was dynamic filter. No, well, almost. Okay, like this. This is better, right? I hope I close everything correct. So what I want to do with this one, I actually want to make sure that it was not working before. Okay, so now I expect to see an error because I use old code and it really says missing dynamic content block. Well, so now let's see. His changes which he was proposing were so for each, like what I'm trying to do right now is that having two dynamic filter blocks doesn't look so nice. So I need to somehow connect them inside of for each to make it look cool. So what I can see here is that this expression is the same, but here it says if length was 0, then he says use this one, else, like if it is not 0, then it should be this value. This value is the same as this value, right? Well, that's pretty much it. Ah, right, okay. Well, the problem is that I forgot to. It has to have content as well. Well, that's really bad of me. I comment a little bit too much. Let's see. Cool, at least now it worked as expected, and it says rules value is object with 5. Well, I hate this one really. True, tuple and tuple respectively. I spent at least a day when I was fixing Route 53 module with similar thing and putting two map in all places and then removing them. I think I need to do a similar thing here, but let's see what is here. The true-false result must be consistent type. So what is consistent type? So look up rules value. The given expressions are tuple and tuple. I hate this really. I mean, guys, tuple and tuple. Yes, tuple and tuple is the same thing. It's like object is not object. Oh. Okay. Well, maybe I need to give up for today because I'm not feeling so well. But no, no need to give up. Let's think about this. It shouldn't be very hard to find the solution, especially if I can look into other places how I was doing it. So first of all, in other places, filter has to be in single place, like single value. So it should be max one block. And so it should be empty like this. I don't use this one because it's just confusion to me, to be honest. And it confused Terraform as well, I can tell. Well, exactly. Why? Why? I mean, this is tuple and this is tuple. Anyway, if I now type yes and priority cannot be used for this version, well, priority is another thing. So let's look into example and try to identify what's going on here. So what I want to do is one will be without priority, because I start to remember something. Filter is really a tricky one. So filter and priority. Yes, the priority associated with the rule priority should only be set if filter is configured. If not, provided default to 0. Okay, so I need to remove priority as well. And see what's happening. More I work with Terraform, more I'm thinking that it's sometimes doing crazy things with types which I will never ever understand, and that's just painful. Like these error messages sometimes are just upsetting. So priority cannot be used for this version of cross-region replication configuration scheme. What? But I removed priority, right? Priority for filter. Okay, let's put back how it was. Okay, I want to make sure that I'm at least able to create the same thing. Yes. Let's see. Okay, cool. So I was able to create it for this one. Now if I remove priority, should I remove priority here too? No. Okay, so if I remove priority inside of first rule, it says rules priority, well, looks fine for me. I don't really understand what's the problem here. So I want to make priority cannot be used for this version of cross-region replication. Okay, what if I remove priority from here then? From another rule. Will it help? Nope. Priority cannot be used. Well, that's helpful. Let's see if I search for priority replication configuration. Does anyone have any ideas what can this be related to? Two versions of replication. The method of defining which one is quite obscure. Use signal, use v2 by including filter in the rule. If you not include filter, v1 is assumed. Well, it's pretty obvious. So priority, how to create request using the script, not very clear. Well, I can tell that it's not very clear. Priority must be unique between multiple rules. Prefix conflict with filter. Okay, well, I don't think I will be able to find proper solution for that right now, but I will continue playing with it, and usually it's not very hard. Anyway, I think for today it's enough. Well, at least for me it's enough because I was not doing this for quite a long time, and now you ask me to do so much. Well, again, thanks everyone for watching this, and thanks env0 for supporting me. You can always go to env0.com/Anton, and well, that's it. Why not go there if you can? Thank you very much. Next week we will continue probably with Terraform AWS modules because, well, there are a lot of work to be done. Stay tuned and have a great time, everyone. Bye.